Have you ever had a bolt work loose on your RV, causing you a headache? This is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, and our guest today had that exact problem on his Harley. Only one day after replacing his exhaust pipe, he was driving down the road, and guess what? That exhaust pipe fell off because that bolt from the vibration and the heat just loosened and it went away. He did not want to do that each and every week because he knew it would just keep coming loose. So what did he do? He sat down and invented a new one that actually works and stays on. And that is the day that Stage 8 was born. Today, solving problems for RVers everywhere around the world. And not just RVers, anyone who has a nut or bolt loose today on anything, even in space.
This is going to be an incredible interview with our guest talking about, well, loose nuts and bolts.
Now, we all know somebody that's got a loose nut or a bolt in our lives. But I'll tell you what, when I was speaking with Bruce for the very first time, we were standing on a street in Manassas, Virginia, and he started talking about, oh, yeah, I've got stuff up on the space shuttle. He said they came to me and asked me a question about could I keep their camera, their $4 million camera came loose and it just floated off into space. And so Stage 8 had the solution for that. And, you know, when we're talking about solutions, that sounds means it's time for our fun fact of the day, brought to you by Open Road Resorts. And they are full of solutions here on the RV Life Podcast. Patty, talk to me about Open Road Resorts.
Open Road Resorts has 4 amazing campgrounds. One of them is near Dallas, Texas, and it is just amazing looking. So those of you that are going to be in and around Dallas, you want to check out Open Road Resorts. And then they have 3 additional resorts in Montana and Utah in the area around Yellowstone. We had Chase Becker on the show, I guess about a month ago, and he painted a picture of that area that Dan and I just can't wait to get there. It sounds amazing.
I don't know if, Bruce, if you have been to that part of the country, and I haven't mentioned yet, too, today we have a special guest. Our producer, Patrick Buchanan from RV Life, is going to be a special live guest on the show. Patrick, welcome to the RV Life Podcast.
Great. Thank you.
That was from Patrick. We always love it when Patrick is on the RV Life Podcast. And this is the first time we've talked him into coming on and doing the RV Life Pro Tip of the Week. Absolutely live.
Live.
Put him on the spot. So, Bruce, this is a very special show for us. And, when we talk about our fun fact today, our fun fact is about patents, and I'll bet you have a 1 or 2 of those laying around your office somewhere, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get to the fun fact. So Dan and I are actually right now in Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C., where the patent office is actually located. And, let's talk patents.
The
Information
patent office
I didn't know
came to be in 1790. That's when the office started. And since 1790 to today, they have issued just over 10 million patents. And Bruce, I think you've got 9,999,000 of those, right?
Just 82.
82 patents. That's amazing. Can't wait to hear more about that.
One of the questions that just always comes to my mind, because I just keep asking questions, is what company owns the most patents? And the sources that we looked at today on the internet tells us International Business Machines, or IBM, holds the most patents of anybody in the world, most U.S. patents. So you have about 80 of them for your nuts and bolts and loose screws, I hear, right?
There's a couple other things. Yes, I did.
Wow. So I can't wait to get in and talk to Bruce Bennett about his inventions that really are going to be or are a help to the RV community.
Yes, those patents have done some incredible things, not just for his motorcycle exhaust pipe, but for anybody who owns a Newmar RV. There seems to be a slide problem where there's a little vibration going on with the motor housing for the slide. And they have invented a $78 fix for a $10,000 problem, basically, is what it is. They have invented this and they have worked on it for a customer. We're going to get into all of that right after we go to break. Right now on the RV Life podcast.
The most important part of your RV is the roof. If your roof leaks, your trip and your RV get ruined. You can take it to a dealership or service center to be maintained at their expensive rates. Or you can maintain it yourself over a weekend for a fraction of the cost. Liquid Rubber RV roof products will keep you dry and leak-free. Visit shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife. Use coupon code RVLifePod15 off to save 15%. That's shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife.
National Indoor RV Centers with over 1,000 motorhomes available across multiple locations. National Indoor RV Centers continues to provide an outstanding hassle-free motorhome ownership experience. National Indoor is the #1 Newmar dealer in the nation and also features brands like Integra, Winnebago, and much more. Visit NIRVC.com and become a part of the National Indoor RV Centers family.
This is the RV Life podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. And we are so glad that you are here with us today. You know, you never know where any given day is going to take you. But for Bruce, this one day in his life changed his life forever. He took a drive on his Harley that he had just replaced the exhaust pipe on. And guess what? Halfway through that drive, that exhaust pipe fell off. He had to go into the bushes to get some leaves because it was so hot he couldn't pick it up to take it back to his garage. And his trusty sidekick 8-Ball, the German Shepherd, well, that day that drive fell off, that pipe fell off, it changed his life forever. Now, Bruce didn't want to go through. He looked at that bolt, he inspected it, and he said, you know, this is just going to keep coming off over and over and over again. So he said, I can do something better than that. And he created a solution that is not just for him, but this solution has changed the lives of thousands and thousands of people. And that day, him and his furry friend who passed away that night that he was making that first bolt for the Harley, his dog, unfortunately, left us. And Bruce named the company after the dog, keeping the respect for that dog and his furry friend with him forever. As I look at him right now, he's got his shirt on. It says 8-Ball on there. And we are so happy to have Bruce as our guest today.
So we are talking about Bruce Bennett and his dog 8-Ball. The company is Stage 8. And we want to welcome you to the RV Life podcast, Bruce.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bruce, that had to be a life-changing moment. And it just seems so simple. You know, I've looked at your stuff and it just seems so simple. Tell me about how the idea came to you to fix this and you know, overcome the vibration and heat issue that you saw was taking that bolt that held that pipe on.
I knew clamp load wasn't going to solve the problem because all it does is, you know, stretch the threads or whatever the case may be, and they get worn out. So basically, it was just a loosening problem. So I just needed to make sure that that bolt that you just put on with a wrench stayed there. So the whole idea was leaving a little wrench on the bolt, and if the wrench got it there, if you left it there, it's going to stay there. The designs were up until eight hole designs was just my final design, but I started with a hole in the bolt. I started with a very weird shaped retainer, but it graduated to my 8th design. And that's when my dog passed away that night, when I actually showed the bolt at 3:00 in the morning to my dog. And I realized she'd passed away. So I decided to name the company after my dog. And that's the whole corny story there.
That's a great story. That is really amazing. And so while I do help out with some of the work on the RV, I'm not as, good at it as Dan. So for our listeners, we are talking about a bolt that needs to stay locked on. And that's what you invented. And we'll lead people to a video that they can see it. But that's pretty incredible. And you said you took 8 times till you came up with the solution. And, your story really inspires me. You truly are an inspiration and really finding a problem and coming up with a solution. Have you always been like that?
Yes, I've been self-employed since I was 16 years old, and I figure I broke lots of things in my earlier life because I wound up fixing everything in this one. And I've always been able to do it. I've been gifted enough to be able to conceptualize a situation and actually physically solve the problems. So I was very lucky to be able to do those things.
Now, Bruce, you've told us about some pretty incredible problems that you have solved. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the strangest use case for the inventions that you've come up with?
Oh, boy. Well, I guess the one that would be the claim to fame is holding all the beer can making machinery together. There's a flywheel, about 3,000 pound flywheel that rotates when it's making their beer cans. Well, what happened is evidently this flywheel came loose for the company and went right through the wall and cut the owner's Corvette in half. And they called me up and asked me if I'd come down and solve a problem for them. And I said, okay. And I go down there and we sit in a room with 10 engineers on a table with a big cloth over a pile in the middle of the table. And I ask them, what's that? And they go and they pull it over and there's a set of headers all mangled up after it got run over. But it's got my header bolts on it. And so he says, well, if you can fix this, we want you to go around and see what you can hold together in our canning company. So I walked around the plant and then showed him different places that I could solve the problem. And the owner of the company looked at me and he looked at his engineers and he said, anything this guy says to put on my machines, do it. And we've been making product for them for over 25 years.
So what I heard, Bruce, is there would be no more beer cans if it wasn't for you. If you didn't fix the problem. So the next time that you go out, if you're an RV Life listener, RV Life podcast listener, and you're having a beer right now, sitting around the campfire, you want to thank Bruce right now and just join me with giving him an applause because I have never had a beer in my life, but I will tell you, a lot of my friends love having that beer every single night. And it wouldn't be there if you didn't fix the canning solution for those beers out there. You have touched everybody. Talk about, Patty said you were an inspiration to her. You are an inspiration to every man in America.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, that is quite the story. Now, beyond beer, I think you have some stuff up out in space, too. What's going on out there?
There's a $4 million camera on the robotic arm on the space shuttle, and it's held together by some very small 1/4-inch screws. And it floated away because the screws came loose. Anyway, now we hold them on. We've been holding those on for about 5-6 years now, and there has been no problems whatsoever.
Wait, you're talking about a camera that's being held on, but this isn't just any camera. What did you say the cost of this camera was that had floated away previous?
$4 million.
$4 million. I just had to emphasize that. A $4 million fix. That's pretty impressive. I'm additionally inspired and impressed by you.
You know, Bruce, about a month ago, you and I had a chat, and you inspired me to take my grandson over to the Smithsonian where Discovery is, the Space Shuttle Discovery. And that arm that you're talking about is actually on the floor of the Smithsonian, and the camera is attached to it, but with a little bolt, your bolt, mind you, but it's sitting on the floor on display in the Smithsonian. You know, I mean, here's a man that he didn't just give you beer. He has been in this. He is now in the Smithsonian Institute with his. It's just incredible. It makes the hair on the back of my arms just stand up. You gotta just absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. Now, also, let's get you into the RV industry. You're not an RVer, you told me.
No, I haven't been. No.
But a Newmar customer, somebody that owned a Newmar, contacted you and said, we're having a problem with our slide out. The vibration is making the bolts on this motor that hold the motor together, it's making them continually come loose. And when those come loose, that's not a good thing because the slide starts cocking one way or the other. And you had a solution for that. Tell us about how you came up with that solution.
Well, actually, it was basically the same solution we use in other situations. Actually, one of the pieces for the beer can making machinery was a bridge type assembly, just a different size and a different shape. But the trick is never let the bolts start to come loose, because once it starts to come loose, it's only going to go one way and it's going to get looser. It's never going to tighten itself.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So those of us in RVs that have those slide outs, and from what I understand, it's not just Newmar, but a lot of people are having problems with the slide outs. Does your product work for different? We have a Monaco. Can we put them on our Monaco? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I can't tell you exactly what model they go on. They fit about 90% of the motorhomes right now, and that use these slide outs. But where I live, it's not exactly an RV community, and so I've done everything with the RV on the computer and with pictures from people that send them in to me. So I've actually personally never been underneath an RV to put this bolt on. But I know how to keep them tight. So, but everybody's very helpful in this industry.
I will tell you, if you do not know what we're speaking of right now, our friend Mark Chandler, who has the YouTube channel Our Journey in Miles.
That is spelled MYLES, so that people can find it.
Okay, there will be a link to it in the show notes below. But Mark did a video that actually just came out earlier today, and Patrick sent it over to us. Now, Patrick, you'll be hearing from him in a few minutes, but he just sent that video over to us. It's a very in-depth, detailed video of how your solution that literally costs $78 on your website is what the solution is. $78 on the website is fixing $1,000 problem for him that he really had. And like you said, what we need to do is stop these things from coming loose in the first place, because when they come loose, things start breaking, and we don't want things to break on our RVs.
Especially the slide.
Especially the slide.
And you're saying 90% of RVs, it works on 90% of RVs. So
90% of them, but
great.
We get requests for all sorts of different things on the particular motorhomes and the slides. If someone out there had a different shape or different problem, we're open to helping them out. If they get a hold of us.
Now, it's not an RV, but before we came on the air, you were telling us about a military installation on a door of a tank, and you actually got to go out in Texas and watch them blow one of these things up as it hit a mine. Tell us about that story real quick.
Okay, well, BAE contacted me about their doors coming loose. The doors weigh 900 pounds on this vehicle, and they drive over rough terrain. And the more it happens, and the more vibration. And what happened is they'd hit an IED, and the door would come off. And what happened? You have an explosion, and it create a giant vacuum. And the no doors, it'll suck the driver out and hurt him bad. Sometimes it'll kill him. So I went to a testing plant, and we put our bolts on a vehicle, and then sent it out over remotely and had it run over a bomb, and to see if the bolts would stay tight, which they did. And then we wound up making a lot of bolts for the military during that period of time. But They won everything yesterday too. It was a challenge, let me tell you.
Bruce, we're going to take a quick break and talk about RV Life Trip Wizard. But after the break, we're going to talk about what's next for Stage 8. We're going to talk about getting the military their product quickly and having to do all the paperwork that goes along with working with the military. And Patrick's going to bring us our RV Life Pro Tip of the Week. All that is coming up right after this.
When traveling in your RV, how do you navigate? Do you use a paper map, a GPS, or do you use Google Maps? Our sponsor, RV Trip Wizard, has the solution, and it just works.
It just works. And we do not, this is a personal testimony here. We do not move our RV 1 inch without first talking to RV Trip Wizard. And when we're talking about that, Patrick, we're going to have a great big party at America's Super Show, America's RV Show in Hershey this year. We're going to have a party, and we're inviting all of the RV Life podcast listeners. If you're going to be in Hershey, you want to get tickets to this party. It's the RV Life live event.
Link will be in the show notes.
The link for that will be in the show notes. It's $15 per person. It includes all the food that you can eat. It includes all the Pennsylvania Dutch beer that you can drink. Some Pennsylvania wine will be there. We have put together an event. Last year, we had an event at this same place. We just loved it. We'll have some entertainment there, the border hookups. Patty and I will jump up on stage and dance a little bit for you. We're going to give away a lot of stuff. I know that one of our other sponsors, Kraken Adventure Bikes, is giving away an electric bicycle.
And Open Road, I got to jump in, is giving a $500 gift card. I was shocked. Patrick's shaking his head, so I'm on the right track. $500 gift card. It's a shame I can't sign up for that one because I'd like to win that.
Yeah. Going that part of the country, and I was there when I was a younger person, but going up to Yellowstone and walking through there and seeing Old Faithful and seeing some of those things, you just cannot believe what it's like walking through that part of the country. It is just the most beautiful place in the entire world.
We're going to clear something up. So we have our sponsor, Open Road Resorts, which is beautiful. We're talking about Open Roads, which is the gas card that we use all the time.
Oh,
they're
right.
donating $500. We have a lot of people sponsoring a lot of things, so just keep it straight. Yeah, Open Roads, which we call the TSD card. They now refer to themselves as Open Roads. They've given a $500 gas card, so that's amazing.
That is amazing, and we can all use diesel. It is.
Well, we don't all use it, right?
Well, if you don't, you should. If you don't have a diesel pusher, you should. But I'll tell you what, that is just one of our biggest expenses. And, we do use the Open Road app all the time to find the best gas prices that we can or diesel prices that we can. So we want to thank them for donating that. There is nothing that Patty and I like doing better than giving stuff away. And if you come to this event, we're going to give away an electric bicycle. We're going to give away one of those cornhole games from another one of our sponsors. Liquid Rubber is sending us down a cornhole game.
Yep.
We've got a couple of other things lined up as well. So we're really looking forward to this event at Hershey. The link is in the show notes below.
Yes.
So just go down to those show notes and take a look. All you have to do is put your email address in, pay us $15 per person. If you have a child, kids under 12.
Correct. Under 12.
Kids under 12 are absolutely free. They can eat all night long. They had the best brownies there. I know, Patrick, you had a brownie or 5 last year when we were at this event.
Calling Patrick out. Poor Patrick. Okay. I want to hear more about the whole thing with your product and the military. Can't be easy working with them. But tell us a little more about what happened there and how that happened, Bruce.
Well, that's a big question. I'll tell you.
It is.
They come to you. And you don't just go bang on the door and say, hey, I have something. So obviously they had to have a major problem. And it just happened as an accident. On my end, basically, we had sent out some little display blocks that I'd made that showed the 4 or 5 different types of locking fasteners we had made. And when I finally did go down and see them at their request, they had my display block sitting on the windowsill. And the guy's telling me, he says, this was the best idea you've ever had. And I go, well, I thought the bolt was. He says, no, this little block that I've been using for a pencil holder or a pen holder, because I drilled a hole in it so you could put a pen on it. And one thing led to another, and I was impressed at how thorough everything was. And I mean, to the point, at first I looked at it as total overkill. And it was how many drawings can you make of the same thing? But they're very thorough. And when they test something, they test it, believe me. And we won out, I guess, but they decided, they needed 5,000 pieces right away. Well, we can do 5,000 pieces. That wasn't a problem. Except two weeks later, they wanted 50,000 pieces because they missed the decimal point. And
just a little bit different.
Yeah. And it got worse. With 3 weeks go by, they missed another decimal point and they needed 500,000 pieces. Well, let me tell you, that was 24/7 for 2.5 years. And they would send up a FedEx truck every day and pick up product and fly it to Texas. It was
wow. That's incredible.
It was scary, but what was really scary was the fact that my patent was in effect that if you can't produce what the government wants you to, they can circumvent your patent. So in other words, if I wasn't able to produce this stuff, they'd go someplace else to get it. Well, needless to say, jumped through lots of hoops, called in lots of favors, and we were able to fulfill all the necessary requirements.
Wow. That, an applaud for you. That is incredible. And it's an incredible story. And again, what I'd love is that you see a problem or somebody knocks on your door with a problem and you find a solution. And that's just incredible. I'm not so much like that, looking at problems and finding solutions, but that's incredible. Tell us now what's next for Stage 8. Is there something new coming up, something in the works? What's next?
Well,
I hear the military is going to order about 50,000 of those door fasteners, or is it 500,000, or is it 500,000?
Yeah. Well, we're getting more and more involved in the off-road industry. Basically, you've got your shake, rattle, and roll, and your vibration there, and the side by sides is a new off-road vehicle that these guys beat the heck out of these things. And so we're doing a couple of little projects for them. Naturally, the exhaust headers, which we've been doing for the automotive industry and the smaller motors, those bolts. But actually, the suspension pieces are getting interesting. Everybody has a little different shape, and the whole trick is to keep the bolt never to start to loosen. That project is we have a couple military wise that I'm not supposed to talk about yet, and I don't really know where it goes, but it's a nut and bolt, and I'll do my part.
You better.
It gets interesting, every day, and some of them are real simple, and some of them take a lot of work. And let's see what else.
One of the things that
belts, which were interesting because you have 10 miles of conveyor belt. This is one I did. Oh God, now I remember. I did one for a banana plantation. Okay, and you have 25 miles of conveyor going out into the jungle and bringing back the bananas. Well, if a bolt comes loose and that line goes down, nothing works. We did that many years ago. I forgot all about it, but just crazy things like that.
Well, in the RV world, we almost all tow a vehicle behind our RV, and towing that Jeep. I would feel much better if you would design the bolt that holds that Jeep on the back of my RV, because there's always that thought that you're going to step on the brakes and see your Jeep drive by you, keep going beside you there. So yeah, I think that's something that we could work on with you, is getting those fasteners.
Well, anybody in the RV industry, and that obviously you're well involved with that. If they have a problem, or rather, send us an email or a picture or something like that, and say this is driving us crazy. We've been doing this now for 35 years. We have a lot of stuff on the shelf that sometimes we can just pull one off and send it to them. We do a lot of gratis ones because obviously it's not going to become a marketable product all the time, but we do have them in lots of different sizes.
Okay, so for our RV Life listeners, RV Life podcast listeners, you heard it from the owner, Bruce. He said, just reach out to him, send him an email. Of course, the email will be in the show notes. And if you have a problem that he could solve, just let him know and he'll find a solution for it. And we want to thank you, Bruce, so much for being on the show. The RV Life community so appreciates what you are doing.
There are hundreds of guys that I know that sit around campfires and bitch about this or that or the other thing. Well, this gentleman right here, Bruce Bennett, he has the solutions, and he is saying, send him an email. We'll put his email address in the show notes below so you don't have to have that problem anymore. Stop sitting around the campfire and bitching and do something about it, because that is what life is all about, having that good, positive attitude to get things done. Talking about getting things done, we're going to be back right after this with Patrick Buchanan and this week's RV Life Pro Tip of the Week. And Patrick, you're going to have to get a nut or a bolt into this Pro Tip of the Week. I know you're doing it live for the first time, but you got to get that in there. I'm just going to put a little hard stuff on you. So this is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt. We are with Bruce Bennett of Stage 8 Fasteners, and we also have our producer, Patrick Buchanan, online with us. But we will be back right after this.
Coach off at the truck stop full of semi-trailers for new tires give you nightmares? Eliminate the unknown and get your new motorhome tires mounted while you watch at your campsite or wherever you are parked. Motorhometires.com takes care of the entire process for you. We come to you with your new tires, mount them, add balance beads, and we even dispose of your old tires. With Motorhometires.com, you'll also enjoy great prices and new tires with guaranteed fresh date codes, and enjoy sweet dreams instead of truck stop nightmares with your friends at Motorhometires.com.
Protecting your RV investment means being ready for anything. An extended RV warranty from Wholesale Warranties is the best way to make sure that if an RV failure happens, you can afford to get back to enjoying the RV life as soon as possible. RV warranties are available for motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers, new and used, across the U.S. Visit wholesalewarranties.com for a free personalized RV warranty quote today and hit the road with peace of mind tomorrow.
This is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. And we are so happy to be able to bring
Bruce
Bennett to you today with Stage 8 fasteners. The wrong slide came up for me here, but that's okay. I also have Patrick Buchanan with this week's RV Life Tip of the Week. Patrick, are you with us?
As RVers, we're always looking to explore, so we don't often go home the same way we came, if we can help it. Sometimes, however, it's helpful just to plot the fastest way home or simply go back the way we came. In these cases, the round trip options in RV Life Trip Wizard is a handy tool to make your return trip planning more efficient. Using the round trip options, you can mirror your stops back to your starting point or find the most direct route back home. Take a look at the round trip options feature and see if it's right for you. For RV Life, I'm Pat Buchanan.
That is a great tip. Dan and I, as we travel around the country and we speak at events, and we'll talk more about that, people ask that all the time. They say, I'm trying to plan on the app when, in fact, you need to plan on a computer, right, Patrick? And then look at the app. And I have to say, now, Dan and I have been RV Trip Wizard users. Dan got this app, this suite of products before we ever had the RV. So he was already planning out the trips before we had the RV. And I have to say, in the almost 3 years that we've had it, RV Trip Wizard has made so many changes and so many improvements to the app, to the program. It's just been amazing. And again, people ask that a lot. So I like to share that there have been so many changes that have been awesome.
You know, we have met at some of the shows, some of your backroom tech guys. And don't kill me, but I'm going to let something out of the bag. I hear a little birdie told me that come 4th of July, the price of the RV Life Trip Wizard app is going to be going up. So you want to take advantage of the discount you will get by using the discount code for RV Life podcast listeners, which is in the show notes below. And you want to do that before the 4th of July, because one of the things I love about RV Life and I love about this product, your price is locked in. It may be $59 a year right now, but if it goes to $159 a year after the 4th of July, your price will be locked in for your life at that $59. And I love that option for RV Life. So you want to, this is not a time to procrastinate. This is a time to get that wrench out and screw that bolt on, because you got to do it now, because it's going to be going up. And when I get a memo from the big boss that says we're going to be raising our rates, you might want to get your people to get out there and buy it now. This is what I'm telling you. If you don't have RV Life Trip Wizard right now, you're missing the boat, baby. You need to get it right now and get it before that price goes up, because remember, once you get it at the price that you get it at now, that price will be locked into you for your lifetime every single year. You will not be paying those upgraded prices.
And while we're talking about this so much, I do have to say RV Life Pro is a suite of products. So that includes the RV campground reviews that are for RVers, by RVers. That includes the maintenance. That includes anything that RV Life adds on is included. So you could hear Dan and I are really excited about these products.
There's a couple RV courses in there, I think, nowadays too, right?
Yes.
Patrick? Now, Patrick mentioned that RV Life does have a booth at the Hershey event. Dan and Patty Hunt, the host of this podcast, that would be me and my incredible wife to my right here, we are the featured speakers at the Hershey RV event. So we will be featured and we will be telling you, we will do a seminar on how to plan an RV trip without killing each other.
I'm going to jump in with the details. The Hershey RV event, I think it's called the Hershey Super Show, if I'm not mistaken.
America's Super Show.
America's Super Show. Again, it'll be all in the show description. Dan and I will speak Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock. Now, they did put us in a bigger room this year. Last year, the room was so packed that literally people could not get in. And we will talk all things trip planning, show you some of the things that we do, some of the ways that Dan and I work together to trip plan so we don't kill each other when it gets stressful. I mean, we'll talk all things trip planning at that seminar. So you want to be able to get in, get your seat for that seminar. And then, as Dan said, RV Life will have a booth, and some of my good friends will be in that booth, including Patrick.
And we look forward to that each and every year.
Now, let's talk again about the event. I get really excited. While you're in Hershey, on Thursday, September 14th from 6 to 10. This is called RV Life Live event. It's at Inglewood. It's right near the Hershey event where the Hershey event will be. We are putting this out to our RV Life podcast listeners first and foremost. It will sell out. So Dan gave you a lot of the details. All of that will also be in the show notes. Get signed up for that event and join other RVers and hang out, and so many great giveaways. I think we're up to, $3,000 or $4,000 worth of giveaways.
Yes, we are. And I am really looking forward to that event because there is nothing I like better than eating brownies and giving stuff away. And I will be doing both of those things that night. I will be eating the best brownies in the world, furnished by the Inglewood there. They were so good last year. And we'll be giving an e-bike away. We'll be giving a open road card for $500 away. We'll be giving away all kinds of stuff.
Wow. What was that? Okay. Our producers are hitting buttons that should be hit because that $500 gas card would be awesome. I don't know what's going on.
Yes,
there.
It will be awesome. We are looking forward to that. So we really do look forward. Now, we're running a little bit over time, Patrick. Anytime you get on the show, I go over on my time, but that's okay because the producer's here. Thank you for that great tip this week. Can you give us any insight on anything new that's coming out that they won't come and torture you for telling the general audience about?
That is great. And I do want to mention those of you that are going to sign up for RV Trip Wizard after this broadcast, you want to go on. RV Trip Wizard has videos on YouTube. You want to go on and check them out. They're short, bite-sized videos. We know you don't want to sit and watch really long ones, but they will be very helpful in getting you started with your new RV Trip Wizard app and planning. So you want to check those out. And those of you who, like Patrick said, who haven't used that app in a long time, you're going to get on, see a lot of new things going on. So the YouTube channel, what's the name of the YouTube channel, Patrick, that they need to go to?
RV Life, right? That's right. And I will tell you that we have been using RV Trip Wizard for over 2 years now.
Almost 3. Actually.
Almost 3 years
Yeah.
now. And every time I talk to Patrick Buchanan, every single time I talk to him, I learn something new about this app and something else that it does. He talked to us about that satellite view, and I've used it 20 times since then. When you pull into a gas station, sometimes you got to figure out how you're going to get out when you have your 40-foot RV and then you have another 25-foot of Jeep behind you that you're towing with the stage 8 fasteners that are attaching my Jeep to my RV.
Coming soon, right? Coming soon, those fasteners. Again, we do want to give a shout out to Bruce. He's still here with us, and he has offered that if you send him an email with something that a bolt or a fastener could fix on your RV, reach out to him. His email will be in the show description, and hopefully you could solve some more problems for our RV community.
And believe me, the RV community has a lot of problems. There's not a day that goes by that something doesn't break on my 20-year-old RV. Or as Patrick said, that cost him $1,000 every time he goes into one of our sponsors.
That's the fun part of it, right?
But Bruce, it was great having you on the show. We truly appreciate your stories. I dream about being up in space with that $4 million camera. I just dream about using a $4 million camera. It's just sounds so exciting. Hopefully you'll be at the Hershey RV event. If you are, we'd love to see you there. Patrick, I know we'll see you there. And to our listener, I know we will see you there. If you see us there, please come up to us and say hi. We love to interact with the audience. We do this show for you. And we truly appreciate you coming and listening each and every day. So with that, I will say, my name is Dan Hunt. I'm the host of the RV Life podcast with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, saying have a great rest of today.
And an even better day tomorrow.